All of the shops in the area and nationwide focus on high quantity and average quality. And that's why they install pre-cut kits, because they are a million times faster than a custom installation where they have to focus on the details. So they can pump through a lot more vehicles. They have bills to pay, they have payroll to pay, they have a lot of employees, whereas we don't. Norm is the only installer, and so our overhead is low, and so that's why we're able to be just a little bit more than an average kit installation, but really spend the time and attention to detail to have the installation meet our standards instead of just an average kit. This vehicle was actually done by another local shop here in Raleigh, and we want to show you the difference between a typical average paint protection film installation and a paint protection film installation done by Capital PPF. So we're going to start with a few of the arrows, and I'm going to zoom in with pictures and video to show you the up close pictures. This rocker is protected up to here. It's pretty standard on Porsches. However, it would have taken 30 seconds for them to expand this film and wrap it in here, but they didn't. Same thing on Porsches, this textured area, which is also common on trucks, where they have a textured area that gets high impact. On darker color Porsches, it's just going to trap air if we put film over that. That air is going to look white. Well, on a white vehicle, it would be just fine to put film over that area, but they didn't. So the film stops here, and then it starts here again. We would have protected that for them, particularly on a white vehicle. Next, this blinker light actually pops out in a matter of seconds. And then they could have wrapped this edge and wrapped this edge, but they didn't. Here, Norm always tries to get the headlight edge as tight as possible so that there's no gaps, and we'll show you on both headlights that there is, a gap here and there. Same thing under here. The film actually stops about a ½ an inch under where it could have gotten better coverage. There's some misalignment issues here where it's a wider gap and then a tighter gap. And the film stops right here instead of wrapping inside. And of course, with most bumpers with pre-cut kits, there's going to be seams in various places. There's actually 4 seams on this bumper, whereas Norm can install this bumper in one piece with no seams. And the reason we prefer that is because, especially on lighter color vehicles, the seams will trap dirt and look a little dirty over time, and there's no way to actually clean them. Same thing with some alignment issues here, where it's kind of wide in certain areas and tight in other areas. The film doesn't tuck very well under the emblem, when those emblems pop off very easily as well. And here, there seems to be, on this installation, there's not much contamination, which is great. And we always acknowledge that there is going to be what we call working lines or lift lines, where there's just a little bit of a distortion in the right lighting. And this job actually has quite a bit of that. It would probably be above our limit for sure, as what we would let go as far as the distortion. So I'm going to show you some of those as well. And one of the distortions, there's actually 2 of them on here, is where they overheated the film around this sensor, and there's actually a fingerprint of basically the film was melting and they pressed on it. So that was just a installer error. The tow hook actually has quite a bit of distortion, which I'm confused as to how that much distortion can happen on such a small piece. And then the edge gaps around these headlights as well. So I know that the bumpers are the hardest part to do, but we feel like a lot of these could have been addressed immediately, especially some of the distortions and the alignment issues. And with 30 seconds of film adjusting in the software, they could have made it a much better install. And that's why a lot of people choose Norm's custom installations, because he really does give it that time and attention to detail to make the film as invisible as possible. And that's why most people choose us. So we'd be happy to protect your new car. So give us a call today.